Hello and good evening. I
Hello.
like that. Get with it, Parnell. Go on now. Break it down.
You
Break it
ready?
down. All the way in Michigan in that cold weather.
Yeah, baby, it was snowing.
Was it? Oh man, we should be there.
Mm.
We ought to fly on up and just, at least we get the chance to play in the snow.
That's all good.
That is good. It's been a while since you've been in snow like that, though, right?
It has been, it's like it's been. I mean, I've been to cold intermittently, like a day or two or whatever, but
Right.
actually being in snow for an extended period of time, it's been a while.
Right. Well, they come from Denver, of course. I mean, you used to
Yeah,
snow. Used to
yeah.
snow.
I used to snow, but the other day I was like, I haven't brushed snow off of a car in 35 years, so that.
Oh wow! When you was a baby, get out.
Yeah,
When you was a baby, right? You was a
yeah. When
baby.
I was a baby, yes, I was, in my little booties and diaper, just with the brush bigger than you.
That is good. So you're enjoying yourself out there in Michigan?
I am. It's been fun. Rehearsal process is going well. Wait, did we say welcome to the truth behind the truth? We just started talking.
We just started talking. Hey y'all! Welcome to the what? The truth behind the truth. See, actually, what we're doing, we're getting the truth behind the truth, but you being in Michigan, so everybody's all inclusive in the truth behind the truth now.
I love it.
But anyway, go ahead. You were saying.
Oh, I don't remember. I don't listen to what I say. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, it's been good. It's been a good rehearsal process.
Okay.
So this is our first week down.
Okay.
We got the first act, the bare bones have been worked out. So
okay,
tomorrow we start like finessing stuff and then start learning act 2.
All right, that's beautiful.
And just a reminder for those of you who might not have caught the show, I am here in Rochester, Michigan, doing the show Blues in the Night at the Maybrook Theater here. Actually, it's Auburn Hills, which is really on the college campus. And we open February 15th, running through March 12th. So get your tickets. Come on out and support. Say hello.
Yeah, I know that's right. I know that's right. Well, yeah, y'all do that. Get your tickets, and make sure you get the information ticket information, we can put it on, put it up on the show, what have you about that, or either on the website as well, so they can know where to go and come see you.
Yeah,
and get your autograph. You got your pictures ready, right? Was it $5 a picture, right?
Yes, exactly. Give to the cause because the rent is due.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Harold, how are you?
I'm good.
We miss you. We miss you being right next to us.
Mm-hmm. Well, I miss you guys too. I didn't think I was gonna make it, but I made it home. I did.
We're glad you made it home. But we got to work on that second home. You know what I'm saying? You got one mansion. We got to get you another mansion. But yeah, it was so fun. I mean, guys, it just gives us more to work toward, guys. Yes, last week, it was so great. I mean, and I'm sure our engineer, producer, he's probably cheering on. Fortunately, we have him in the same room today. We can talk smack straight to the face, just but it was really, really, really enjoyable. Yes, and it just shows that we have got the right thing going.
That's right.
Number one, we have the right thing going, and it's just a matter of the other individuals that need to see us, to catapult us to where we're. Because Dr. Phil got to go, y'all. I'm sorry.
I didn't even know Dr. Phil was still around. Is he still a thing?
Yeah. What he's doing, he's just holding that slot cold for us, so we come in and warm it up. 3:00 every day, on was it CBS. So that's our slot. We proclaiming that slot.
Yeah,
that's gonna be the new truth behind the truth. And getting rid of him. But anyway, so how you doing, man?
Oh, I so wholeheartedly agree with you on that. I mean, to be honest with you, Dr. Phil's show is such an abomination to the mind. Ooh. I hate to say it like that, but it is. Every time I watch it, I get this toxic feeling in my spirit. I have to turn it. I ain't gonna lie. I'm feeling good, but just to talk about Dr. Phil is just like, oh, what a
I really didn't even know he was still on.
He's still there. He is still there. They tried to revise his show. And we're not giving Dr. a plug, but they tried to revise his show where he was going house calls. So he was going. Yeah, they did. Yeah, he.
Well, the worst house call he ever made was the house call to Britney Spears' hospital bed. And that was the worst. Now that should have cut off right then and there. Wow. You remember when they put her in the hospital because they thought she was either crazy or she was on drugs, and he go run into the bedroom making
with the camera
out of himself.
No way.
And then next thing you know, big headlines talking about how she kicked him out the hospital and how he couldn't get through to her and all this. I'm like, yeah, he should have. That should have been a done deal years ago. Like I say, can we talk about somebody else?
This show wasn't about Dr. Phil. Trust me. I don't know how he worked his way into the conversation, but I'm gonna work him right on out.
Let's work him on out. Thank you.
Well, how you doing, JB?
Good. You know, I was running behind today, getting to our set here. You know, because but trying to make that extra money we had to make up from the other making up the money. So when them customers make that demand, at that moment. So I was like, please hurry up, make your decision. I got to go. I got to go, y'all. I got to go. But anyway, so yeah, I'm good though. I am excited still about what's going on with us. Every opportunity I speak of the truth behind the truth to anybody. I had a conversation today with a young lady that had bought an item today. And it was nice. It was very inspirational, with her, and y'all know me, the tears start coming down, whole night. But it was well worth it because we got another follower. She probably watching tonight, at the end of the day, because it was really, really, really good. And she was a Michigander. She was a Michigander. Wow. So you would need that connection, and then she was an Atlantan as well, So amazing enough, right? She did the same circle. I'm like, whoa, okay,
Hey, she was following the drinking gourd.
Right, exactly.
There's always seemed to be a pathway to LA. You got to come through North Carolina, through Georgia, which is the main point, and then you fly to LA. Right. And make it a final destination of you.
Ain't nothing like LA. Maybe no.
I hate to say it.
Carolina. I got choked up on trying to say that name.
Oh Lord.
But yeah, so it was good. It was really, really good. Man, we got some stuff to talk about tonight, y'all. Especially that, I don't know if we should wait for the break and come back and talk about them dudes, or should we or kind of segue over to the break and come back if we need to?
We can start a little light.
Yeah, I am okay. I'm sorry, guys. Audience, tonight is of course news buzz with the fellas. Once again. So it's again great night. We're gonna dig in. May hurt your feelings, but it's okay. You'll get over it.
You'll survive.
You will survive.
You'll survive the truth behind the truth.
You will survive the truth behind the truth, right? Indeed. But first off, let's get into this chaos fiasco. The words going about these 5 officers. I mean, I'm literally outdone.
Look at this mess.
You know what I'm saying? I am literally out. I don't know what it was. Either all 5 of them thought they were cute, or either they didn't work out enough testosterone when they went to the gym that day. I'm trying to make light of it before we go into it. You know what I'm saying? Didn't work out enough testosterone when they, before they went to the gym that particular day. Made some bets. I don't know what they did. Okay, but it is number one. It's an embarrassment to the community. And what it did is to put this community right now on blast. Okay. In a big way. I mean, because how can we stand now? Again, I know it's y'all know me isolated, to that incident. However, news media doesn't give us the opportunity to isolate it to that one incident. They expanded more. So, but the unfair process is that now it's going to look like that we out of line. You know what I'm saying? That we don't take respect for our own lives. And, it gets magnified for that because you got 5 people. And typically, why y'all had to be black men? I'm sorry. But anyway, it's enough that we go through enough ridicule, being the color that we are. And then this on top of that, So now let's go ahead and dig into it. I try to make light of it, to as much as I could at the moment. Go ahead, partner.
Well, it's definitely one of those things that a lot of people are talking about it. My good friend Cleo Manago talked about it. He said it for years ago that it doesn't matter the color of the skin of the officers, but what they're all upholding is, we know that our police system was born out of slavery patrols and keeping Black folks in line.
Right.
So regardless of whether the officers are white, Black, Latino, Asian, or whatever, it's still upholding that white supremacy thing of keeping Black folks in check.
Right.
So this is like, we've known for years that a lot of times Black officers can be worse than racist white officers towards Black people, because the whole thing of this, like, well, I can show you that I'm not going to be any more lenient on Black people just because I'm a Black officer. I can be just as hard. Right. And it's still, regardless of color, a lot of people who joined the police force I've said it before, were either bullies in high school or were bullied when they were in school. And this is an opportunity to have power behind that. And the interesting thing about it is, I do commend that police chief for firing those officers and then being charged immediately, because so many times, months or years gone by. Like even the case that was in 2019, Ronald Green was beaten and eventually died to death by 5 white police officers. Right. There still to this day have not been any murder charges against those officers. So it's still, showing like, well, this is great that we brought officers. I mean, we've just now in the last couple of years started seeing white police officers being held accountable for killing Black people. Right, exactly. And and it's like that role was going, and then these officers came along, and it's just kind of like, him and Han, and there's always just where they've been on administrative leave while we investigate this. Right. Like, come on now, y'all know that they beat this man, and they need to be charged with his murder. And I got food cookies. I'm gonna disappear for a minute. Okay. But
go ahead, Harold, with your point.
No, I was gonna say, this should be an example, though, to other departments of what should happen when these egregious crimes occur. I mean, this police department acted swiftly, in terms of firing them, having them arrested. It wasn't no time for an investigation, putting them on administrative leave, but it just really reminds me of how unequal the justice system is. Right. Because how are they able to act so swiftly in all these other police departments? Like I was saying, it's still years in those other officers that he mentioned haven't been charged. That doesn't make sense to me. Right. But I'll go into add to what I really need to say after this commercial break. Don't we have a commercial break going?
Yeah, coming up in just a second here. You want to make a quick point before we go? Or you want to wait until we come back?
We'll wait until we come back.
Okay. So guys, if you're just tuning in, welcome to the Truth Behind the Truth tonight. Okay, we're digging in about this horrendous thing about these 5 officers we were talking about now. We're gonna pick it back up when we come back from break. But get your popcorn, get your wine, get whatever you need. Okay, and we'll see you right back in a minute.
Call 844-55-STARZ. It's Junk Stars, baby.
Hey, my name is Thurston, and here I have my CEO, son Langston. We specialize in junk removal, dumpster rental, and demolition. So if you need junk removed,
call Junk Stars.
You need dumpster rentals,
call Junk Stars.
All right, and we are back. Oh, you look like that food was good. That was quick, party.
Oh, I had to get my Paschetti.
Oh, okay.
Paschetti. Come on, Paschetti.
That is all right.
Oh, and I see he's working his shirt. Let's see your shirt.
That's mine.
Oh, that's it. Get the hell out of my life and stop talking about it.
It's not my job to make you comfortable with my life. That's for Parnell. Come on.
Abbreviated. Get the hell out of my business. Mind your own. short abbreviation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so you had a point that you were going to bring out. We were discussing here that you wanted to finish up.
Well, I know everybody's talking about the video, and I decided I couldn't watch it. I just remember watching the Rodney King video years ago and what that did to me. And I think it's unfortunate. I thank God that the video exists, but I don't think that we need to see it. I don't think we need to be exposing our children to that. I don't think we need to be exposing any of us to that. I was reading this article in Psychology Today that was talking about how being exposed to violence in social media desensitizes us, it makes us intolerant to violence, and it makes us anxious. It increases our anxiety because when you see something like that, particularly as young people and as kids, it makes you fearful. You see that this can happen to anybody. So I think it raises your anxiety. Right. And I don't think that type of stuff needs to be exposed, all willy-nilly. I think it needs to be in the hands of the authorities that can, make sure the prosecution takes place. But I don't like the idea of that just being shared like that.
Well, to your point, I did see it, because I woke up and like it was on after taking a quick nap yesterday or last night, and I got to admit, I felt it, and watching it, as a whole, and I agree with you with your point about especially young kids and seeing what it what it entailed. The problem that I think I have with it is that it's going to be played over and over and over and over again. How many times we saw, unfortunately, George Floyd die on the concrete over and over and over again. And I think that is I think that the major problem. If you didn't catch it the first time they showed it, then let's not show it anymore. On the onset. That's just my take on it. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh well, to be honest with you, it is just a rough topic to talk about, and the whole entire thing is such a tragedy. Right. But I get so tired of the talking points from some of the people who just don't care. Or don't care that things need to change. I watch some of Fox News a little bit. If I don't see it, I see excerpts from my timeline. And they had Jason Whitlock from one of those sports channels I could care less about, talking about the fact that, this happened because of the fact that there's a traumatic situation. There's a traumatic PTS issue going on within the Black community where women are involved, where you have single mothers. This is who he was blaming for all of this. He said most of those 4 or 5 cops were, and then the victim himself were the victims of single Black mothers being involved in their lives and not teaching them, and the man not being involved, the father's not being involved. This was his excuse for the fact that
who's this fool?
Jason Whitlock.
Exactly.
And the saddest thing about that is the victim was from a 2-parent home.
Exactly. So he's talking a bunch of nonsense that he don't know shit about.
Right.
And then on top of that, you got white conservatives talking about, well, why they're not rioting? Why there no riots? Because we all know if there were white cops, they'd be burning down cities and just tearing up cars.
So this is what they're saying.
Yeah, this is what they're saying. Okay. In my mind, I'm like, what? The saddest thing about this is somebody lost their life.
Right.
And
that doesn't matter.
But justice is now, justice is being served. But it's just the fact that you cannot convince half of a demographic or some fools out there who want to get their opinions and agendas pushed, regardless of the situation at hand. Also, I want to add this too. It's just, if you didn't see that interview with Don Lemon and Don Lemon and the mother and the father, it was an interview to watch because his mother, she was just a pillar of strength.
Right.
Even though she wanted to break, she was a pillar of strength. She wanted she had forgiveness in her heart,
Right.
even though there was anger all over her face. She said, "I have to forgive them," and I feel. She said, I hate the fact that they have shamed our community and shamed their parents and their families. But at the end of the day, she kept reiterating, I have to forgive these people because it wouldn't do me no good to hate, because it's just that's what they would want us to do.
Right.
I have more, respect for her and his father, because they really showed that they have always been a unit, and they showed that their son had at least a lot more character in his 150-pound body than them 5 idiots that just beat him to a pulp.
Right.
So that's all I have to say. It's just really, to be honest with you, the whole thing is just a tragedy.
Yeah. I'm just not built that way, and I really wish Black people would stop rushing to forgive people for doing fucked up.
Right. I'm with you too.
You know what? Those people killed your son. It is all right for you to be pissed off.
Right.
Be angry about that. Yeah, you can forgive them eventually, but for right now, be mad. It's fine to be mad about it.
And your anger,
Yes, that is a real emotion that we have, and it is a justifiable feeling to have.
Right.
And I'm really sick about for white conservatives or racists trying, well, how come this, blah, blah, blah. Listen, white folks tear up the town when their sports team wins. White people tear up the town when their sports team loses. Black people are rioting because people are being killed. So shut that bullshit down.
That's
right.
That's right.
That's true. You're absolutely right.
That's so true.
Yeah, I'm now that I'm listening to you guys, it's like, I've been, I always try to purposefully stay on the outside, but yet in the inside of it, so that I can, bring it around, wholesomely. But just listen to what you were saying, about that, listen to what you're saying about it, and you as well, Harold. It just puts us all in a very sad state of affair. And you get to a point, it's like, how do I deal with this as a person? You know what I mean? And I can put different spins on it, yes, and ways to look at it, and then I think about it, it's like I got a 17-year-old, well, soon to be 18-year-old grandson, that will be, driving at some point, very soon. Yeah. And I ain't gonna sit here and tell you that I'm gonna sit down and anytime that some officer, would do something to my grandchild. You see what I mean? Then I'm not gonna sit down. You see what I'm saying? And I'm thinking about that. I'm like, am I going to respond to this, in this manner? And I know I won't. Y'all know me. When I go off. Okay. So and I think about that. I mean, I really do. And this is not a racial implication. It is just the truth behind the truth. Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. And it's being honest about your truth, because it is an unfair practice in this country, period. Bottom line, whoever, and the thing about what the officers, okay, I know I'm shifting conversation just a little bit. What America and in central cities need to do is to, number one, they need to vote these damn judges out of the office that they put them in. Right. Okay, because they get elected by you people. That's right. They get elected by you. You put them in office. Number one, because I'm gonna say black and white, whatever, a poor white, whatever the case, y'all don't read just as much as the black folk that don't read. Okay, and then when it comes down to these ballots and things like this, when there's time to do election, y'all don't read, y'all go in there and click. Okay, because somebody told you voting is great. I'm not taking the voting away with it, but know the hell who you voting for and who you're putting in office. Because guess what? They're the ones that are circling this whole idea that needs to be corrected in these cities. They circle them. They circle them. They know about these judges, what they can get done and what they can't get done, because they're already paid. They already paid. Hell, you go to traffic court and find out they already damn paid. You go to traffic court, you got typically in most, like in Atlanta, you got 100 black folk in there, maybe 8 white. Okay, and every one of them black folks coming in there paying a fine. Okay, because of that particular, that's just one. I'm sorry, that's just one area. But at the end of the day, and this again, my white uncles love y'all dearly. Y'all know I'm with you. But there's times to speak the truth behind the truth, in which we're doing right now in this given situation, and it is ridiculous. But people as a whole, you need to vote for the right people. This is the only way this shit gonna stop. Get these people out of office that are not, because hey, as long as they keep getting backed up for all of their indiscretions, we're gonna keep having conversations like this, and people are gonna keep dying.
Did you see how the state of Georgia and Atlanta, they sent tanks to Atlanta to mobilize just in case there was a riot. They said about 30 tanks to Atlanta. Now, I thought about this. I said, not one person sent a tank to the Capitol when January 6th happened. But you can send tanks to Atlanta just to calm down the situation. You know what I'm saying? And it makes you wonder, who are you protecting? Are you protected? What are you? And to be honest with you, you have to think about this stuff sometimes. You're like, why is it that y'all can mobilize when there are peaceful protests? When there are peaceful protests, instead of having them there when somebody's about to overturn the government.
Right. Okay. Go ahead.
Are you guys aware of this app on iPhone, the I'm Getting Pulled Over app? Have you guys heard of that?
No.
Yeah, so there's an app on iPhone where if you're getting pulled over, you say, Siri, I'm being pulled over. And what it does, it automatically will turn off your phone. If you turn off the music on your phone, it will start recording you from the front camera. And it will save the footage not only on your phone, but to the iCloud. So if the phone is destroyed, that footage still exists. I just learned about this today. Yeah. Okay. And it's something that I think we all need to consider, having. If you have an iPhone, it's called the I'm Getting Pulled Over app on iPhone. It's a free app. You can download it. And, because when you get pulled over, I know for me, I've been pulled over a couple of times and I get anxious, black, white, red, or brown. And so just having something to document what's happening, I think is really important. So it's the I'm Getting Pulled Over app.
They pulling you over because you're driving shirtless.
I might be able to get out of that one.
Right.
Lord, no.
What'd you say, Mr. Officer?
You better get your lashes and wigs.
Yeah,
you have a better chance in that situation.
Right. Yeah, no, right. But I mean, it is a very serious situation, and I think it warrants to continuously, be looked at, on a regular basis. I mean, it really is. So I just send, the universal speed, Godspeed to his family, and everybody that's surrounded. And I recommend the protesting, but let's have some right guidance in the protesting, at the end of the day, because protesting with no results is not protesting at all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want to create chaos out of chaos. You want to end chaos. You want to protest and hopefully end the chaos and bring attention to it. But I'm just saying, going by and getting your new pair of Gucci shoes, okay, and a Gucci bag, okay, a Louis Vuitton bag ain't nothing to do with this boy dying. Okay, let's be clear. All right. Ain't nothing to do with the two of them. Okay. If you couldn't afford it before, you ain't going to afford it now. So don't go in there and start using that as an excuse to break in places that have nothing to do with what happened. This is a central. If anything, you need to break. Hey, you need to break in the Capitol where you are. You need to protest in front of the police departments. That's where you need to go.
Especially at the end of the Florida. Day. Well, yeah. Especially with Florida. You ever heard of the Stop Woke law? Stop Woke law that Ron DeSantis started?
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah.
Well, can we talk about Shirley Ralph and Babyface doing the pre-show at the Super Bowl? I'm really excited. Although that's not one of my favorite songs that she'll be singing. Lift Every Voice and Sing. It just sounds like
what song she's singing?
Yeah.
Lift Every Voice and
the Black National Anthem.
Yeah. Well,
but I'm sure she's gonna do something to spice it up. She's gonna do something.
I sincerely hope so.
And then Babyface is doing America the Beautiful.
America the Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
There's some things I want to say about the Black National Black Anthem. We talked about that a long time ago. That that anthem needs to be done away with. There's too much other powerful songs out there that we need to sing rather than that. But that's maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I know we got to get ready for a break. But I do want to talk about this incident. I think I sent it to you guys on Instagram about this misbehaving teenager and her in the classroom when we get back. And I think this kind of fuses into what we're talking about, because mismanaged behavior or mismanaged anger put you in a position to experiencing a lot of things where you did not have to. Now, if we have to slap mama's hand on her ass or whatever case be to tell her to get her daughter right.
Not slap mom on the ass.
Well, I mean, hey, hey, so look, some of these grown ass people need to be slapped on their ass, get a damn belt, and whip their ass like we used to get. We got growing up, At the end of the day.
Now, JB, we just talked about stopping that site.
I know. I'm being facetious, but you know what I'm saying. It's just offers a correction, in terms of what they need to do, because some of this stuff is ridiculous. But we'll talk about that when we get back from this break. All right, we'll be back in just a second. All right, and we are back on the truth behind the truth on our normal Saturday night. Guys, I want to thank you for being a part of this wonderful growing family that we have. If you're not a part of the growing family and need to be a part of the growing family, you need to share, like, share, and send some money. But anyway,
and lift every voice.
I'm calling you the begging preacher.
Look, you're supposed to put the offer plate out there after every good word, right?
Okay.
Advertise on our show. Advertise,
exactly. And put it out there. But I also want to remind you to definitely go to our website, www.thetruthbehindthetruthproductions.com, as well. Keep up with us. Keep up with. Hey, matter of fact, before we go on real quick, talk about where you're going with Where in the Hell's Parnell this season. I know we've been waiting and getting excited about where he's showing up. So tell us about the episode going.
I'm definitely going to be. I've been shooting some footage around, the rehearsal process and the show here in Rochester. So that'll be coming up. And then I don't know what I'm going to be. Who knows where I'll pop up next?
That's what. And of course, DTWW. I mean, this man said internet on fire with DTWW. What do we
Tell us about your latest. Tell us about the latest one.
Yeah.
I did a guest star this go round. I got our engineer Charles
really
to do reaction we did on Aretha Franklin.
Okay, wow.
Aretha Franklin, yes, we did one on Aretha Franklin, and we did it on Daydreaming, and we had a good time.
Good.
So yeah, thank you, Charles. Yes.
Good. Well, we look forward to that
And it's growing, and I can see that the comments are coming through too. I got some more stuff I got to put out though, but still,
good. Awesome. That's exciting. I am so thrilled about that. That's good. So as we are growing as a team, and making it all happen. I know, Harold, you got more and more happening every day. I mean, you guys, if you guys are not following Harold weekly, on the juicing side or the nutrition side, y'all better do yourself a favor, okay? I mean, at the end of the day, because there's so much.
Or not, because sometimes people don't want to know the truth. So or not.
Yeah.
Because some of the comments, folks are like, "I'm gonna eat what I want to eat."
Okay.
You're like, okay.
We should mention the new flavor of Doritos.
Oh my God!
They got a barbecue flavor one. I didn't eat any, but I saw it in the store and I put it down. I said, I got to put this down. Trust me, here I did it. Everybody been trying to say you should try it. I'm like, I'm all right. The pictures he put up on Facebook got me thinking it's time for it. It's just time. Stop.
So my last video, I listed 3 things that I gave up after my diagnosis with cancer. One was cheese, and one was my favorite, which was sour cream and onions potato chip. It was funny because one of the young ladies, she said, I can't believe you just pulled out that bag of potato chips. She said, I'm right now eating a bag of sour cream and onion potato chips. She said, I'm mad at you. But because I did not know that because potato chips are fried in high temperatures, they develop a material called acrimolene, which is a carcinogen that's also found in cigarettes. I had no idea of that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Really?
And I didn't know that. So if you can find you some baked chips are better because they don't have that material in them. But
I do.
No wonder they taste like plastic.
Oh.
I used to love me some sour cream and onion.
Tastes like a styrofoam plate with some flavor on it.
I like the Lay's simple.
Lay's simple.
The Lay's simple. They don't have all of the other things that are done to them. So they're simple. They've come on with Cheetos simples and all this type of stuff. So they've extracted all of the negative stuff out of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So simple. They call Lay's simple. They have different flavors, what have you. They even have sour cream ones. But just in case you wanted to know that, okay. I'll not drop that nugget on you, but they do have those. But anyway, we're gonna move on. So I do want to talk about real quick 2 things. One about the freedom about that Kim Kardashian has done with these gentlemen getting involved, and things like that, and her purposefully. And I have to give her credit for that. We'll get into that one in a minute. But I do want to briefly talk about this young lady that has been circling around the airways and whatever about her misbehaving in her classroom with her teacher. Okay, and then what she did to her teacher. Okay, and it. We'll start out this conversation tonight talking about the severity of what we see in terms of law enforcement of what's going on. But this is a product, and if you guys hadn't seen the video, y'all need to go out there and find it, okay? This is a product of why people get led into being in situations such as that, because this girl is just, I really could not believe it. Those of you who haven't seen it, okay, she walked up to the front of the room and fronted her teacher like she was somebody's damn parent. You ain't gonna do this to me. You and Nick, and you ain't gonna do that to me. Slap, and the teacher was trying to pull back, and everything. Slap, and the teacher was about to call the school security. The girl slaps the phone out the teacher's hand. Okay, she slapped the phone out of the teacher's hand. The teacher, kept back. She said, "Well, you ain't gonna," whatever the words were that they were throwing, back. So the teacher opens the door to get ready to go out. And the girl walks up and pushes the teacher out the door and closes the door behind the teacher. So the teacher opens the door. Is that right? I got it right. Teacher opens the doors back up again. So they're standing in the doorway, and the girl is all up in her face and everything. Then the girl and the teacher's holding her back. Okay. The girl slapped and yanked and smacked the teacher. It was on at that particular point in time. Yeah, just like you looking. I was like, you know what? That's why I said before we went to the break, somebody in that case, somebody's ass needed to be whipped.
Absolutely.
Big time.
I don't understand. Okay, that we've got these levels of households. You know what I'm saying? And these children raising children. Okay, and mama probably out wanting to get her groove on. At the same time, and then she got this
or not, because we can't always blame.
You're right. You're right. However, it does become to be a big problem. I mean, I think you guys know when I told you about that situation. That young lady used to work for me. And her mama was competing with her. I mean, she would come to work for me when I was as my cashier. Back at CVS. And I spent time with her, and trying to encourage her to get in a better spot. But her mama would come pick her up for her. And she's 18. She just turned in 18. She didn't have her car. Her mama come pick her up, and she got club. I mean, the worst kind of club. Lick it up, slide it down, doing the couple of girl. I mean, all through and I was like, I know she's not doing this, and she got a daughter. All right, and what kind of example are you providing for your daughter? So I did have the fortunate opportunity, the grace to have a conversation with the mother. Because she called looking for her daughter one day, at work, and I said, "Is this such and such mother?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Can I have a word with you?" And she said, "Well, yeah." I said, what's going on with you? Y'all know me. I'll just go right in and try to get the truth behind truth right off the bat. But so, and she said, "What do you mean, sir?" I said, your daughter works for me, and she's coming in with a whole lot of, issues. Okay. And I'm trying to help her figure out the issues. So I have to contribute it back to what's going on in the household. So forgive me if I'm out of line, but I don't think I am. But let me say, so you drove up to the store to pick her up that I pointed out, you drove to the store to pick her up, and then not choosing your kind of music, but is that kind of cool to be listening to that around your daughter? Is that an idea, an example that you want to give her? Well, she got to get ready to get on her own. And I said, well, I understand what you're saying, but is that the way you want your daughter to go? Well, I had her when I was 16 years old, and I need to get my life on.
And that's the problem.
Okay, I said, well, there's a problem right there. Go ahead, Aaron.
Because so many people are parents, and they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
You don't get a handbook. You don't get training on how to be a parent. And so often we parent like we were parented. And sometimes that was not healthy. It wasn't productive. And the children, unfortunately, bear the unfortunate scars of that.
Absolutely. And it's very sad. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day. So having the firsthand, but fortunately, I think the young lady that worked for me did listen. I said, you gotta move yourself beyond the behavior of your parent, of your mother.
That girl in the classroom would have got her ass beat.
Oh, absolutely. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Right.
Very clearly. Okay. Unfortunately, it was not a man. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, because she'd have slapped and scratched one and see bro would have like, okay, wow.
You know what? I bet her parent was one of those parents during the pandemic that was trying to get their kids out the house back into the schoolhouse, because they couldn't teach them at home. The one thing I realized about, at least about that situation, is the fact that there's so much stuff like that going on social media. It's either on a TikTok or on a Twitter feed where you're seeing multiple cases of teachers being attacked by students, and they wonder why teachers are now hard to find.
Right.
There are teachers who are now taking up early retirement. Now, if I was that teacher, along with that teacher that got shot, I would be lawyering up. I would be suing the superintendent. I would be suing the school district, the parents, all of them. They would be giving me money and an early retirement because you breaking your leg over the fact that she broke her leg. Right. Oh, the girl, the lady, the teacher literally broke her leg over this situation. Wow. And the fact that, this girl's still squabbling and going, and nobody didn't even come to the woman's defense until the last minute. Not even the students. They back there laughing, kicking and cackling over that. You expect that, but still, at the end of the day, I would be suing. Someone gonna give me some money. Right. I want to see the cash money because I'm owed something for this craziness.
Right. It's the level of disrespect, and there's a thing where those community standards were like, because if that was, I wish my son would.
Oh, I know.
Yes. I wish he would have acted up like that with a teacher. One, and he better hope that I got to him before his mom did.
Right. Okay.
That would have been like, oh, your mama got that. I'm trying to get there before your mama gets there, because if she gets there, there's a funeral coming up. Right. You know what I'm saying? But that's the whole thing. Like, we grew up in the areas like that whole thing where the whole neighborhood
Right.
watched out for you. You need to, if Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so told you to get your last over someone, you got your last over with. They need to, and they would tell your parents. Now, and I'm not saying that people need to be beating on folks, but that's the discipline and the respect for an adult. You know, just from children. When I've taught after school kids and, you know, they get upset. Well, he had to do that. I was like, listen, you are a child. There's an adult woman who needs to sit down. Get your ass up.
Right.
I don't care what you were doing. That woman has earned the right for you to get your little young behind up and let her sit down.
Right.
But we don't do that because, well, I don't want it. Like, no. Instill that in them when they're young. You can't wait until they become 14 and 15 and 16 to start instilling that. That stuff needs to start when they're young. But we talk about the first 5 is important. The first 5 years is important because in those first 5 years, the building blocks of what we're going to become is set.
Right. That's true.
Our personality, our gender identity, our sexual orientation. I know people don't, they're too young. It's set by the time we're 5 or 6 years old.
Right.
Then different life experiences can affect it, but who we're going to be, it's set. So if you wait until 10, 12, but let me start teaching, it's like, no, absolutely not. Not going to happen. And that we've lost that. And I get it. People are busy. We've got jobs and all this because people are working 2 or 3 jobs and stuff. But you still have a responsibility as a parent. If you are going to be a parent, it's not easy.
Right.
And, you know, and the people generations now, there are all kinds of books and seminars and all kinds of stuff. If you don't know what's going on, pick up a book. Go to a class. You can learn every damn thing on YouTube. We talked about that before. Right. You know, there are resources now to help guide people. And like the young woman talking about, and it's not, my mom told us, I'm not worried about being your friend. That's not my job. Right. I can be your friend when you're an adult. My job right now is to instill values and educate you so that you can become a productive part of society. Now, when you get 21, 25, we can talk about being friends and hanging out and doing stuff. But until that time, get in there and do your damn homework.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Harold. Yeah.
Oh, I was done with that.
Okay.
Well, like I say, if you ain't ready for no responsibility, stop laying down with irresponsibility.
Right. Okay. Okay.
That's
what I was gonna say.
I'm just saying, if you are not ready to raise and if you're not ready to raise responsibility, stop laying down with irresponsibility.
That's right.
And I'm just saying. Start with, and then on top of that, start with a plan A instead of a plan B. And looking for a plan B.
Right, exactly.
And a prophylactic. I'm just saying, if you're not ready, don't do it. Right. This is probably one of the reasons why we're having these bad seeds. And you see them all in the stores wherever you go. Yeah. You see a parent that can't even control their child and have them stand still. That would have never happened to me. Right. I'm just saying, a switch and a belt. It works if it's used right.
Right.
If it's used right and the message is clear, but if you're just using it willingly, I call that abuse. If you're just using it just to use it, that's abuse to me. Right. But if the message is there and the reason that I'm doing this is to control you and to set some boundaries, then that's not abuse. That's discipline.
Right. Well, yeah,
that's discipline to me.
True, and some people do. So I gotta say, some kids need it, you know. And some, you know, some don't, you know, I mean, in the process of that, but it some action plan needs to be in place,
it has to
you know, and if you don't, like I said earlier, going into this, before we get ready to go to break, these behaviors dictate to what these people are experiencing in law enforcement. Because number one thing is they say about law enforcement, if you don't learn it here, they're going to teach your ass in the street. Okay. They're going to teach you, you know, and I know we're not defending the behavior of law enforcement, but if you're doing the same, can you imagine that little girl? Just imagine before we go to that little girl acting that way in front of an officer. Oh, she'd have been dead.
Right.
She would have been dead.
Greg said his mother used to use her backhand till she got him.
I know that's right, Greg. Anyway, we'll be right back right after this break. We'll talk about Kim Kardashian when we come back. We'll be right back.
No. Or not.
Or not.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into The Truth Behind the Truth tonight. I mean, we're giving you parenting. We're trying to get you not in trouble with law enforcement. We labeling it out there. Now we're going to talk to you about getting yourself straightened out, or not you in general, but if you know any loved ones or whatever, that there is liaisons out here now, and I wanted to bring up Kim Kardashian's efforts as to, making herself, I think a better person in society. I mean, just at the end of the day, because of course, as we all know, she has not had the best reputation, but she's coming back and trying to rebrand herself, and she's using her money to be able to do that, so she's going in, paying these fines for these individuals, whatever, and representing them in their legal matters, and I think she's just about finished ready to get across the, what did he do, study for the bar. So she'll be actually a criminal reform attorney, whatever it is, those legal. She's taking it in pet. Okay, she's taking it in pet. Okay, so so that's good. So I just want to give her and just hear what you guys say about it. But she was on Instagram, I think, today with these several gentlemen that were behind her that she has actually gotten their sentences reduced or gotten them out, which is really, really wonderful, And it's unfortunate that we have not seen enough of other attorneys, and I won't, throw us on Front Street like that, to take those steps, because we got a lot of Black attorneys out here. I mean, a lot of them, and we're not taking the responsibility to help people. I think that if it ain't got a dollar behind it, then we don't want to get involved with it. But anyway, that's my point.
Well, but kudos to her for doing that. I mean, she has a lot of influence, and so kudos for her for using her influence, because not everyone has that type of influence, to do what she's able to do. And I think it's great.
It'd be nice if the hip hop community would do that.
Yeah, well.
But that's too much like right, that's a utopia.
You don't sound like my grandmother. That's too much like right.
Well, yeah, right. But like I say, it is. I mean, I wish kudos to Kim. And people don't take news like that very serious these days. They in the comment section talking about those could be her potential husbands. I'm like, y'all know what? Stop. But you know what thing I can say this, Kim, if she's rebranding herself, good job.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's called doing the will for humanity.
Right.
And the saddest thing is that you got an ex-husband out there that still don't get the gist of his platform when he should be helping these men out too.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Well, he can't even help himself out right now.
The Black man is huh?
He can't even help himself out right now.
I know, right?
That's right. Do you have a point about that, Parnell?
No, I mean, I just would, like the gigs were saying, it's great that when people have this sort of platform, that they use it to make the lives of other people better, or to affect policy for the better. As opposed to, like, however scandalous her start to fame may have been, she has really turned that around and just like, hey, I know you guys may think that I'm just, whatever, but there really is a heart and a mind behind all the makeup and the hair and the expensive clothes and stuff. It's somebody who's trying to do good, and there it is, she's a mother now. And a lot of times becoming a parent can change what people's mindset is and what they think is important. And, for those who criticize them, go, what are you doing? Are you helping this?
Exactly. And that's my whole thing. I think that's one of my whole messages too, is that you can always sit back and complain. You can
criticize,
criticize the whole 9 yards. But the number one thing, the truth behind the truth is, what are you doing as an individual to affect humanity? At the end of the day, whose life, and you don't have to know the people, whose life are you speaking into on a regular basis? Who are you influencing to make the better decision for their lives? Even and not just collectively us here on the show, but those that are out there. You're in touch with these young men on a regular basis. You see them. You see these people out on the street. Pull them aside and say, hey, look, little fella, whatever, can I talk to you just for a minute? I mean, where's your life? What made you get there, and speak life into these people?
I know there is an organization out there other than what Kim is doing. I know Kim is doing it, but there is something out there. But I just want to believe that these HBCUs have a rehabilitation program for Black inmates that need some form of structure, some form of training within whatever college that they can go into, so they can restructure their lives. I'm hoping and praying, and if you do anybody in the audience that is watching, please educate us. But there might be, but I'm hoping that is more out there, because we don't see enough of our people with our faces doing this type of work. Right. I love that Kim is doing it, but it'd be nice that we can see somebody that looks like us doing the job, right? Other than just cussing somebody out and throwing somebody on the ground. I'm just hoping and praying that there are people out there actually doing the work, and you know, in spite of what they're doing. I'm just hoping.
And there are, but they don't have that Kardashian name and money behind them, so they don't get the press behind it. Right. But yeah, there are other organizations that are doing the work and trying to make stuff happen. But that's the whole thing about liberation comes from having the truth behind the truth, as we say, is that you've got to have economic power behind that. You've got to be able, like the reasons why all these things are happening a lot of times is because these lobbyists are able to get access to the decision makers. Whether, I mean, there's a big thing now is about the Supreme Court. There's some Supreme Court charity thing that like the NRA and stuff, you know, are donating all this money, and it's like, oh, so they get access to the judges, and like, oh, all of a sudden the judges are invited to all these parties, and it's still mind-boggling that we appoint people to a lifetime position but don't have any legal recourse to guide their ethics, to mandate that they have to recuse themselves from cases that personally. I was like, who thought of this? Right. That you give people this power, but you don't have any checks and balances for it. What the hell?
Exactly. I mean, I totally agree. You know, it's oh man, as a whole, as a country, as who we are, there's a lot of work that has to be done. You know, I mean, at the end of the day,
it starts with the people.
It starts with the people.
Got to get up,
but they
got to get up.
When you don't, here's the thing, and I think this is a good way to wrap it up. You know, number one thing is when you don't believe in yourself, you never know how to believe in the sense of community. Okay, and without a sense of community, you have all of these tragic events. Okay, and the responsibility of the sense of community, that means that from the law enforcement side of it, you know, and doing people wrong, feeling like that you have the ability to do it, the bullying and all the things that we've labeled out tonight. Then you have young ladies that go into classrooms, you know, and behaving like she did, you know, at the end of the day, because there's not a responsibility in the home. But what we've got to get to as a whole, not just in the Black community, but as a whole, is a sense of community as humanity, you know, and be able to step in and to speak life and power into people's lives, okay, and help reveal the truth behind the truth to them. You know, and then once they begin to see that, maybe we'll start seeing a little bit of a change. But as a rule, right now, we got a long way to go, y'all. You know, collectively, we may not be on this planet, be able to see, maybe be looking back to that, but I still have hope for humanity. That's the number one thing I always look forward to. It's so glad we had this time together.
I know, right? But you know what I say.
But you know,
go ahead. But like, I want to add this: what a parent won't, a teacher can't, the system will.
The system will, exactly.
And that should be,
guys. It has been, thank you. It has been a great night tonight. Hey, I hope that you walk away from this definitely, or roll away from it, however you step away from it, informed. Make this a party life. Make these changes happen.
Please.
We'll be right back here again, talking more, bringing more at you. Hopefully, getting you to a place where you understand the truth behind the truth. Have a great night. See you, Bardell.